Well, welcome everybody to another segment of Lewis at Large. Yours truly, Warner Lewis, from the flight deck. And as always, some smart talk radio is certainly in your future. And over the next half hour, very pleased to have with us Anson Williams. Who's Anson Williams? You know who Anson Williams is. He was Patsy Weber for many years on the incredibly popular series Happy Days. You've seen him in all kinds of movies and films. He is also an outspoken advocate and spokesperson for the National Drowsy Drivers Awareness Week coming up in November. We'll talk a little bit of showbiz, a little bit of sleepy driving, and much more. Anson, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm just great. Thanks so much for having me on.
Well, let's do this. Let's give our Lewis at Large listeners, your days on Happy Days are well documented. We'll touch on that a little bit. But how'd you get into acting to begin with? And obviously, it has been a long passion of yours. Share a little bit about your career.
Boy, that's a large question. Basically, I was pretty much like everybody else in this country, maybe even a little poor. We had a GI Bill bought a house, and I grew up, with a one-bathroom house and conservative parents, and if I ever wanted anything extra in life, I had to get a part-time job and earn it. And I had this just inside desire to perform, and my parents, who were depression kids, they said, "No way! You're going to be a teacher. You're going to be an engineer. You're going to get something secure." And when I insisted on entertainment, I was nicely kicked out of the house at 18. And they said, when you're sane again, come back. So I went out, got and supported myself, and just started standing in open audition lines, and just went with my feelings, and it kept moving me forward. And one thing led to another, and I finally got a job in summer stock as an apprentice, and then I got a replacement job in a live stage show in Hollywood, and a commercial agent saw me, and I got signed, and I started doing commercials, and then one thing led to another. I got an acting agent, and finally, I would play all the concerned boyfriend parts. And Marcus Welby, MD, Owen Marshall,
sure.
Counsel Law, all these different kinds of shows. And an audition came up for Happy Days, and it changed my life.
What when you read? I'm just curious. Was it known? Did you feel when you saw the script at Happy Days, or you saw the premise and you heard a little bit about it? Was your feeling, "Wow, this is going to be gigantic"? Or to you at the time, Anson, was it just, it's just potentially another role on TV?
Most people don't realize there were two pilots for Happy Days, and the first one, it wasn't made for Love American Style, but they aired on Love American Style to get their money back. But it was called Love and the Happy Days, or was it Love and Happy Days? Something like that. Anyway, Ron was in it. Ron Howard was in it. Marion Ross was in it. I was in it. But that was it. Fonzie wasn't created, or Ralphie wasn't created. Mr. Cunningham was played by Harold Gould, not Tom Bosley. There was a different Joni. So we did that pilot, and it was very soft. And basically, that pilot, I just felt lucky to get a job. And that pilot didn't sell. A year later, American Graffiti came out, and Grease was on Broadway, and the network decided to do another Happy Days pilot, but this time more in the tone of American Graffiti. And that's when the Ralphie character was added, Fonzie character was added. They recast Mr. Cunningham, they recast Joni. And this time, reading the script, I thought it would be a temporary hit. I thought it was timely, well written, and would last for a little bit because people were interested in that era, but I had no idea of the explosion that would happen. And that really pretty much happened beyond the page. The cast had such natural chemistry that is just a very lucky break. There was an it factor to all of us together that you just can't write. It's just there. And that it factor, I think, was the catalyst for its popularity.
Yeah, it had that same kind of there was just kind of a vibe about it, almost the way the Friends cast did. It just everything seemed to click just perfectly.
Yes. It was interesting, but Happy Days would play in countries like Africa, where they didn't even understand the culture. They didn't even speak English, but yet they related to those characters. For some reason, there was something universal about the connection of that family of people.
Even though it was all pretty much heterosexual Anglican middle Americans.
Yeah, who knew? Yeah.
Yeah, who would know? I have a question for you, and I know you've probably been asked this before, but it was a timely piece. It dealt with contemporary issues, obviously, of the 70s and some of those, but it was also dealing with issues back then. Were we supposed to suspend our believability on the length of everybody's hair, considering it was in the 50s?
We got. Yes, just suspend the belief, please. Yes. Yeah, as the series went on, our hair got longer.
Yeah. Oh, well, another thing I wanted to ask you too, dial back pre Happy Days. When you were going to these auditions, and I'm sure you would report into mom and dad and say, well, no, I didn't get the part, but I know I'm going to get the next one. Did they become supportive early on, or were they still kind of, nah, we told you so, we told you so?
No, actually, I mean, I didn't. I was pretty much on my own. I loved them. I saw them. But basically, when I left the house at 18 with nothing, literally standing in lines. And hopefully this inspires people listening to go with your feeling, go with your gut. Don't let society define your passion or your direction. Find your direction. Connect with yourself. Know who you are, what you're about. Because by the time I was 21, I was making more money than my dad, starting by standing in lines. Now, it wasn't a lot of money, but it was more than he was making.
Yeah.
And that earned his respect big time.
Yeah, indeed. Again, if you just joined us, yours truly, Warner Lewis from the flight deck of Lewis at Large Radio, as we are each and every week. This segment talking to Anson Williams. You know him as Potsy from Happy Days. You've also seen him on numerous other films and also on the stage as well. But we're here, actually, we're going to talk a little bit soon about National Drowsy Drivers Awareness Week. That is something of which he is very passionate. Pursuing acting just a little bit more. Once we had Donnie Most on this show a couple of years ago, and he sort of felt like, okay, it's time. The show has sort of run its course, and the possibility of being typecast forever that way. Did you feel that way? Did you want to see it end, so to speak, or did you want to do it infinitum?
Well, as far as typecasting, you were typecast after 2 years,
Yeah.
I mean, even if you left the show like Donnie did, it's still rerun every day at the same time. It was in syndication, and I suggested it to Don, stick it out. But, but he had a passion to do other things, and I respected that. I didn't care because I knew I wouldn't be acting very much after the show. My passion was getting behind the camera. The first film I created and produced starred Bette Davis in 1980 called Skyward, and Ron Howard directed it. I directed it and exec produced with me. And then eventually, I went in '85. I started directing, and I've had a very lucky career behind the camera and television. So I use the show to learn other areas of the business and to wear many hats. Also, I was much more interested in an entrepreneurial life. So for me, it worked great. I wasn't worried about typecasting. I just had the opportunity of being on a great show, but more than the show, I was on this wonderful film lot where I could educate myself. I would watch the top directors in the world direct. I'd be in writer sessions. It was like getting a PhD in show business. So it was more than just being on a show. It was the opportunity to educate myself.
When you were in front of an audience, or when you were acting, did you have a preference for film, television, or the stage? Did you have a preference, or did you like them all?
Oh, I liked them all. And honestly, as an actor, I was very limited. I could do certain things well, but I knew it wasn't long term. I didn't have it was too wide a river. I just didn't have that it factor to go a lot of years as an actor. But I truly felt behind the camera, I had no limitation. So I enjoyed everything. I enjoyed everything. But my commitment very early on went to behind the camera.
Do you think, again, because you've been now in the business for quite a while, if Anson Williams was, as you said, standing in line again, is the business the same? Do you think you might have had some of the same opportunities, or have things changed so much it might have been a totally different experience for you?
Well, first of all, I mean, very few shows get the attention Happy Days did because there were only 3 networks at the time, and we had an average of 60 million people watching a week, one-fourth of the country, and then we'd be syndicated every day. So there's probably, 300 million people that watched it every week. But so that won't happen today. That kind of popularity won't happen today. But I think the process would be the same. You go out there and you go and if it's meant to be, and if you work hard and you have the talent and it's your destined place, I mean, yeah, you'll make it again. It'll be different, but every day's different. But the process, I think, is the same.
Any particular production that's going on right now, whether, again, be it being streamed on Netflix or anything that you're seeing out there that you think a particular series, a show, a concept that is exceptional in your opinion? Oh,
gosh. I think Netflix and Hulu and Amazon, I'm just so proud of those companies. I mean, they just broke open entertainment, broke open so many more areas for talent to express themselves, so much more quality, so many more alternatives for the viewer. I mean, you get in there and you see House of Cards, and you see Game of Thrones, and you see, I mean, on and on and on. I mean, just magnificent, wonderful shows that just capture the eyes of viewers and I think have a purpose too. They're entertaining, but they have a purpose.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot more junk today. I mean, tremendous amount of junk, but there are diamonds, within the turds, as I say.
There
are diamonds out there. There's some of the best program ever on television.
Have you caught the show Ozark yet? Have you caught that series?
Which one?
Ozark.
Oh, brilliant!
Laura Linney.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah,
I mean,
dark
it's
and
so
brilliant.
Dark. Really dark. No, but still, I still think there was some moral commentary there, and just fantastic talent.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the lead actor's name again?
Justin Bateman.
Yeah, Jason Bateman.
Or Jason Bateman. Yeah,
man.
not Justin Bateman. Yeah.
Oh, what a talent! I mean, you can tell there's a force behind the show, and it's him. And his direction. He directed the first few. Just impeccable. Writing's amazing. I mean, so original. I mean, that's an inspired show. I mean, that to sit in front of a blank piece of paper and come up with that is pretty outstanding.
Yeah, it is. Okay. We have to get to the business at hand. We could talk about this for a long time, but anyway, we are with Anson Williams. You know him as as a bunch of things, but he was on Happy Days forever and an incredibly popular character, some made-for-TV stuff, and done some directing and lots of different things. But let's talk about National Drowsy Drivers Awareness Week, and Anson, if you would, for our audience, why your particular passion for this issue?
Gosh, one thing I want to thank you for talking about this, because I will tell you now, a life's going to be saved. There's going to be a listener, and their life's going to be saved because of what they're about to hear. So everyone out there, don't turn this dial. Listen, it can save your family's life, your friend's life. Please. My uncle, he's actually my second cousin, but I've called him uncle since I was born, is Dr. Henry Heimlich, who created the Heimlich maneuver. And I think he was in the Guinness Book of Records as saving the most lives by one single individual. Anyway, I had the opportunity way back in the 70s to help Dr. Heimlich get the Heimlich maneuver on national television for the first time, on the Merv Griffin Show. And we've been tight all my life. He had a big influence on me. Well, years ago, I was directing a show called Slap Maxwell, starring Dabney Coleman. And we were out in the local desert here outside of L.A., and it was a very hard day of shooting. I was exhausted. Driving home, I fell asleep. I ended up bouncing around in the desert. Luckily, I didn't crash into a cactus and kill myself, but it scared the heck out of me. And I'm sure there's so many out there with similar stories of just passing out for those 2 seconds. And I talked to Dr. Heimlich about it, and he said, Anson, cut up lemons, leave them in your car. If you start feeling that bite into it hard, he said, the citric acid and the sour lemon will hit the top of your tongue and will hit the lingual nerve. He said, he said the reflex reaction of the body will be adrenaline. And you will have an automatic reflex reaction of adrenaline, nothing in your system that instantly wakes you up and alert. I go, you're kidding. He goes, no. And Dr. Heimlich was an expert on how the body helps the body. He understood sensory connection of the body, and he understood sensory connection of tongue and brain. So I cut up lemons. I kept them in the car. Never had the problem again, man. Boom, instantly up. Nothing in my system. Didn't disturb my sleep pattern. Nothing. Just kept me safe instantly. So through the years, a business partner by the name of Joanna Cannell and myself went into the product business. And not only were we in the entertainment business, for years we created problem-solving products. And we were on QVC for a decade and on and on. Well, we started researching drowsy driving a few years ago. And listen to this, everybody. There are more tragedies, more deaths, more accidents, more money lost, more families torn apart than drunk driving and medicated driving combined. In 2012, the National Sleep Foundation did a study. Back then, there were 168 million drowsy drivers. 1 out of 5 admitted to falling asleep. At least 1 out of 5 accidents were caused by it. More deaths than drunk driving and medicated driving combined. Families torn apart. The average age of death was 18 to 25 years old. College kids are not coming home. Fathers are not coming home. Mothers are not coming home. Kids are not coming home. Ridiculous. So I called Dr. Heimlich, and I said, hey, being that it's citric acid and sour lemon that hits the lingual nerve on top of your tongue, what if we just recreated that into like a spray drop? And what if we just sprayed that on top of the tongue? He said, oh, my God. He said, absolutely. He said, it'll be more powerful than the lemon because it's a direct hit, and you will save more lives in the Heimlich maneuver. Absolutely do it. So we created Alert Drops. Alert Drops. If people go to alertdrops.com, they'll read the story of Dr. Heimlich. They can read the science behind it from MIT on and on, how it works, why it works, how safe it is. No stimulants, no caffeine, but an instant, natural way for the body to wake up the body without anything in your system. We've already saved so many lives in the short time we've been out there. You can go read the testimonials. You can go to Amazon.com. It's on Amazon.com also, almost 5-star reviews already. The United States Congress has honored us. The California State Senate has honored us. The city of Los Angeles has honored us. But I don't care about that. I care about we are saving lives. We are stopping drowsy driving, all because of Dr. Heimlich. And last time I spoke with Dr. Heimlich was 2 weeks before his passing. He died December 17th last year. And one of the last things we talked about were alert drops. And he made me promise to get them out there to everybody. And he reiterated it will save more lives in the Heimlich maneuver. So I thank Dr. Heimlich. Today's not only saving lives, preventing people from choking to death, he's saving lives from people crashing their cars unnecessarily and stopping drowsy driving. All because of his unselfish, kind platform of being a doctor, and also his genius in understanding the body. So everyone out there, please get alertdrops.com. Go to alertdrops.com. Get these drops for your kids, for your friends. Have them in the car. It will stop a horrific, catastrophic tragedy.
And Anson, we're assuming that Alert Drops doesn't have any kind of a real shelf life, right? Unlike a lemon that'll dry up at some point.
No, it has 3 years shelf life.
What when you introduce this, and again you use the concept of the lemon, is it basically a lemon base, or is it just different things in there?
Oh, it's 60% citric acid, a natural sour lemon that we created, water, and a natural preservative, and that's it. That's everything that's in there, because what saves your life is the citric acid with the sour lemon hit to the nerve. That's all it is. It's as natural as can be, and it's your own body waking the body. And they say, well, I drink coffee. Well, good. Keep drinking coffee because deaths and accidents are going up every year. 1, caffeine takes 20 minutes to take effect. So you're already dead or maimed or crashed. 2, you need so much of it, it screws up your whole sleep pattern. So you're on this merry-go-round of exhaustion. So it doesn't work. Also, nothing works. The only thing that works is biting into a lemon or alert drops, hitting that. You need to hit that nerve. You need to hit that lingual nerve, and you need that instant reflex reaction of adrenaline in the body. The other thing that'll do it, actually, like a jalapeno pepper, if you bite into that and it'll do the same thing. But we just found out that was just too uncivilized. It was too harsh.
I was going to say jalapeno spray wouldn't really be really popular.
I think it would cause crashes as you went through the roof.
Yeah.
You know, but we experimented with it. But the citric acid and and sour lemon, that every time, it's just like going to the doctor and they have the little rubber mallet and they check your reflexes. It's the same thing. Every time you hit that nerve on the tongue, boop, you're going to get adrenaline, you're going to wake up, you're going to be alert. And now get off the road and be safe. So we can stop those 3 seconds, of blackout, that kills people.
Yeah. Again, National Drowsy Drivers Awareness Week is in November.
November 6th to the 13th.
6th to the 13th. Again, hundreds of thousands of us every day driving around about ready to fall asleep while we drive. Anson, again, if you would share with our Lewis at Large listeners the name of the product, how you can get it, and also, frankly, if you've got a personal website or a website where some of the other material and work that you've done is available, we'd like to hear that too.
Well, let's see. God, I'm so bad with social media, but everybody go to alertdrops.com. That's alertdrops.com. And you get all the information about drowsy driving and why Alert Drops works, and the doctor approvals and all that, and all the testimonials. And you can go to Amazon and look up Alert Drops. You can buy them in multi-packs for your family. You can buy 1, you can buy 2, you can buy 6, and very reasonably priced, free shipping. But go to Amazon or go to alertdrops.com, either one, and you will save a life, maybe your own. And as far as me personally, I'm on Facebook publicly. If you go to Anson Williams on Facebook, I pretty much keep up what's going on. And as far as what I've done, go to IMDb and look me up.
Okay.
I'm not really. I've never. It sounds bad, but I've never done a tweet in my life.
You and me both, my friend. Good for you.
Well, there you go.
You still writing handwritten thank you notes?
Yeah, I'm into serious things. I think you do it too. I believe if you're lucky enough to have a platform of any type of celebrity,
yeah,
I'm just so tired of look at me, look at me, look at me. How can I help you? How can I use what I've been lucky to attain, and how can I help you? How can we help each other? That's where I'm at. I'm into helping people. I'm into taking this platform and doing positive things. It's not an ego thing. It's like it's Dr. Heimlich inspired in me his philosophy, and his philosophy was we're all going to die. Very important. It's paramount that we leave something positive behind that doesn't. And look at his legacy. And I'd love to follow that. I'd love to know that even after I'm gone, lives are being saved because I was here.
Well, appreciate the work that you've done and the message that you're delivering to us today. And by the way, and again, I know you're a little bit humbled to want to talk much about this, but do you have any upcoming show business type projects in the works right now at all? Or are you pretty much focusing on what you're doing right now with this?
Well, I'm doing a lot with this, but we just sold a pilot. I don't know if you're familiar with Taste of Home.
Uh-huh.
Taste of Home is the largest food website, platform, cookbooks in the world.
Big time.
Well, I got the rights to make it into a talk cooking show, and we just sold the pilot to the Tegna Group, syndicated station group. So we'll be shooting that in October, and we're hopefully going to get Melissa Joan Hart to host. So hopefully that'll work out. So that's very exciting. Well, it's going to be a really entertaining, fun, different kind of cooking talk show.
Yeah, boy, if that thing gets up and running, would love to have you back on again, and let's talk about that.
Absolutely.
All right, again.
But in the meantime, I Drowsy Driving Week's coming up, and boy, if we can save one life, today, and for the future, that's everything to me. And it's collaborative. I want to thank you so much for being part of this, because I can't do this on my own. It's a lot of people's hard work and a lot of people's success that creates the bigger success. And Thank you so much for bringing this to your audience, because you're helping so many people.
You bet. Well, we're happy to do it. Anson Williams, thank you so much for joining us today, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
You bet. We'll be back with more right after this on Lewis at Large.